Hello everyone and welcome to episode 145 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. This week I'm joined by Cameron.
Hello!
And Keo.
Hey, hello.
This week we're going to be talking about the sort of surprise announcement of the October showcase that kind of came out of nowhere.
Silk Song! Woo!
Yeah, Silk Song. Yeah, actually, the title I have for the stream right now for the audio listeners is No Silk Song. Yeah, that's people were. It's like it was sad and funny, and now it's kind of sad and funny again. I'm not really sure where the Silk Song people are in terms of like the scale of depression, because that game's never coming out.
I'm glad Hollow describes perfectly what these fans are.
Yes,
right
exactly.
What has it been, like 4 years?
Oh no, it's longer than that. It's crazy. Might even be close to 5 now, I think.
When did Hollow Knight come out? Was it like 2016,
2017 maybe?
And they're doing a redo of it now,
2017, yeah.
I was reading an article the other day, which was like the 10 years of, Melbourne International Games Fest. And like, what are like some of the 10 best games that have come out over the years. And yeah, just seeing Hollow Knight there, I was like, man, we're never getting Silk Song.
No, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, they had their chance to be in Smash Brothers. If they were out already, they could have been
that
there.
would have been interesting. But yeah, we're
going
to talk about the Xbox Showcase, a little bit of news about Namco Bandai, or Bandai Namco. I never understood whether, it doesn't matter. But Bandai Namco just doesn't roll off the tongue as well as Namco Bandai. There's a few other bits and pieces of news. We've been playing a lot of games. Keo hasn't been on the show for a little bit, so he's been stacking up. So yeah, I suppose we'll just get straight into it with a community question. Also, I should say, we do the show live every week, as always. Xbox Hall of Gamers, place to find us on Twitch. Come say hi. We also put the show out on YouTube and on all audio platforms, if for some reason you didn't know that. So go check us out. But yes, we have a question here from Spice, who says, probably been asked before, which it has, but I'm curious to see if your opinions have changed. But how do you think the whole achievement system on Xbox could be improved? I think Phil Spencer has alluded to some updates, but nothing specific. Some ideas that could be able to pin completed games to your profile to show them off, or maybe adding dynamic backgrounds as rewards for perfecting first-party games. Too much work to be on every game, but yeah. I don't know. We do talk about the achievement system every now and then. It's probably about time that we check in on it and kind of say, what the fuck have they been doing? They've been promising changes for the last 3 years.
Yep, we're finally getting the store back into the mobile app at some point this week.
That'll last 3 months. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
And then Apple and Google come up with some reason as to why it's not allowed. And
I mean, they're going to fight tooth and nail for it. I don't know. Do you guys? I mean, we've been achievement hunting for a long time. Is there anything in particular that's really sticking in your drawer?
I've got a really controversial take.
Yeah, here we go. Hot takes. Cameron over here. What do you got?
What if we had community-driven achievements?
Yeah, okay. Well, we have had community-driven achievements.
But like as in. So, we've had Jake on before about the retro achievements and all that. Sure. I think there should be like 2 categories. There should be a developer chosen achievements. Add some longevity to some of these games by letting the community pick. But have some bases on it. Player has to have completed the developer achievements or something. Have some kind of requirements, so it's not all just shovel. I don't want to say shovelware, but shovel achievements.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I think it would be very hard to manage, but I think the idea is solid. I think that Retro Achievements has proved that there's definitely a demand for community-driven achievement lists and that kind of, yeah.
I know we had the discussion before that they were looking into doing if somebody was a platinum on Halo Infinite or something, that they would get some kind of recognition for that. I think this is kind of a way to solve it. And then we as achievement hunters just know that the developer-led achievements are the true achievements, and then it just all comes full circle.
Yep.
Rich can start up a new website.
True
it's fake achievements. Then there's true achievements, and it's all fine.
Very true achievements.
One of the conditions would have to be this community member has to earn the achievement before it becomes active for everyone else.
Yes. I mean, essentially, what you're talking about is like a Mario Maker style thing, but for achievements, which I kind of actually dig. That's an interesting idea.
I feel like it's going to add a lot more longevity to as achievement hunters, we play games and then we pretty much, all right,
Well,
cool, I'm done with this toy.
the perfect example is Elden Ring DLC doesn't have achievements.
True.
So they could, just get the community to make up a bunch or something, but then they have to tinker with it and make it work right.
That's my issue, is that like the reason why retro achievements work so well is that because the community has complete control over those games in terms of their emulation and that kind of stuff, whereas I feel like the amount of effort that it would take to work on an Xbox would be difficult.
Yeah, and all the achievement hunters would be like, kill one enemy achievement.
Yeah, you think Rad like is bad now?
Yeah. Well, I stand my ground on I think they need to stack it up, where it just needs to be like, once you play the game once, you're done. But if you play the game more than once, it should have like ×2 against an achievement that you earned. So there's a ridiculous number of how many times you started a game that has an achievement for starting the game.
Yeah, you definitely have like a count of how many times you've met the requirements.
Exactly, like times 256 for the Simpsons game or whatever, something.
So
like that.
do you mean like, all right, I really love Titanfall 2. I complete it, I reset it, my score value remains the same, but I can complete it's all over.
It should literally be like an extra little pop up on the top right of the achievement or something with like a ×2 ×3 or something like that, So
yeah, I just Zen in the Art of Reloading a million times because I played so much Gears.
I just like the idea of like
right.
being able to reset a complete list.
I like the idea of being able to remove a fucking list from my. That would be great.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe you have to 100%, and then you prestige the list.
Oh my god! Yeah, actually, that's kind of how you would do it. Yeah.
And then it changes color, and you get like a ×1 or ×2 on it.
Oh man, that.
I feel like you should be able to do that. Like, have a cap on it. Say, like, you could complete the same game up to 10 times, but then have, like, a level of prestige to it.
Be interesting.
Oh, man, imagine prestiging the prestige achievements.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, was it World of War 10th prestige? It's like, well, I've done it 10 times, so 100 prestiges. Woo.
How many hacked lobbies have you been in?
Yeah, exactly.
All of them.
All of them, every single one. I'm the hacker man. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my things with the achievement system are I really wish that Microsoft would take a stronger hand with enforcing the usual like stopping unobtainables and discontinueds and that kind of stuff, and actually putting some policies in place with some teeth. The other thing I guess would be it'd be nice to have, like I said, the ability to remove stuff, but I know that'll never happen.
Yeah, I mean, you used to on the 360 at least be able to remove ones with 0 gamer score.
You still kind of can, but not really.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it never really removes them; just hides them. But
yeah.
But there's heaps of stuff there that I wish I could just not have on my tag. But I think realistically, it'd be better if we had like more enforceable achievement tracking across games. It's just something that like is like super straightforward to implement.
Yeah.
Because so much of what I play recently just either has bad tracking or no tracking, and it's just really, really frustrating. It's something that they really touted as a feature when they brought out the Xbox One, and they just haven't done anything with it.
It just needs to be cleaned up.
I don't get it though, because there's so many games that the tracking, like they have tracking in game that you could tie
Exactly.
to.
Yeah, that's the thing. And obviously, every game basically needs to have some sort of tracking on the internals to make sure you get the fucking achievements. So it just seems weird that they don't do more. Apollo in the chat says, find some way to revive dead servers. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'd love to be able to go back and get the Homefront achievements and that sort of stuff.
If that was a community, I want those too. Yeah. So if it was a community-based servers allowed, like that would be good.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be like some kind of ruling that, unless you're an online only kind of game, there is an alternative to like how Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're like 10 times harder than what the multiplayer version of it is, but just let players have some way to do it. I know it's not always the case. There are going to be games that are completely online that shut down, but
yeah.
I mean, we've already seen the argument before of like, I mean, the Crew 2 and Motorfest now are going to get offline modes because of how pissed off the community got about the original Crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the other side of it, like I'm never going to play Sea of Thieves now because of how they did the achievements for the arena stuff, right? They just they're like,
Which
Yeah,
which is crazy
and-
to me because like you can
Yeah.
play on PlayStation and get all the achievements, but
Yeah.
on Xbox, like
Yeah.
that rubs me the wrong way. Like that's the one thing that really pisses me off for that game. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah. Well,
adding on to that, they need to make achievement art great again.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm tired of seeing the same fucking thing for every achievement for a bunch of games.
There was so many like good community features back in the 360 days that just no longer
Mhm.
exist. Like avatars, achievement art.
yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, even then, like I've said this before about the PlayStation stuff as well. How they have like the gold, silver, bronze, and then platinum trophies.
Mm,
Yeah.
How like they the DLC after you've platinum game means nothing. Just adding gold and bronze trophies to your list.
sure.
They
Mhm.
really should have made other things like different types of minerals or something like gold, platinum, whatever.
Sure.
And Xbox should have gone down the road of like they've got rare achievements with the diamond, so then they could do like a spinning like onyx rock or just like something else, right? So and then just like if you've unlocked a DLC achievement because it's a different color,
Yeah.
it's a different item.
That'd be interesting.
I've always wondered why,
So-
like, for trophies, they didn't go like, all right, you've got your platinum for your completion, but have like an equivalent version of that for a DLC.
They just
Like
have platinums for every.
platinum,
Yeah.
have something in between it for DLCs, and then have your gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's even worse for the PS5 now because there's some new condition in there about having too many trophies means that you can't have a platinum
Oh.
because of collections and stuff like that. Like the PS4 version of Tomb Raider trilogy has a platinum, but the PS5 version doesn't. I don't think they've updated it.
Weird. That's really
It still
weird.
doesn't, as far as I'm aware. I'd have to have a look, but yeah. So straight up, too many trophies, so classified as a collection, didn't give them all individual. Where there are other collections that clearly do, that have a lot less as part of their lists. So,
Yeah, and again, I say this kind of every time we talk about this, but I really am surprised that Microsoft hasn't basically just ripped off TA and used a bunch of their features and just implemented them into their systems. Like I feel like so much of the stat tracking stuff, the stuff they could do for events and things, they could really make it. They could really make it a push.
yeah. So,
I had another idea too. Remember Boncoin?
You vaguely, before it was,
Yeah, like I was just thinking, like, what if we had some kind of like reward system?
we do the Xbox reward system. Like you get achievements in your Game Pass games, and they give you reward points. Like it does exist.
I mean, like for like hitting milestones though, like I feel like a million should be, the community celebrates a million,
Sure.
but the Xbox,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
The Xbox's involvement with the achievement hunting community is pretty minimal these days.
Case in point, loading up true trophies for a second. The third from the top news point is Tomb Raider 4 to 6 Remastered probably won't have a PS5 Platinum trophy. Just like 1 to 3. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I agree with Polo too. Like there should be some kind of requirement. Like the one that's gonna really frustrate us when we get around to it, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Like I don't want to pay for a DLC that's gonna have like 2 achievements worth 10 game score each. Like,
Yeah.
that's still one of the completions. So
Yeah. But yeah, I hope again. We haven't talked to Voodix in a long time, but there was a lot of chat around like what was happening with the achievement system, and kind of we haven't really seen anything. But Microsoft seems to be going in a different direction at this point, anyway. Actually, I don't even know if Microsoft knows what Xbox direction is at this point. So.
yeah, true.
But yeah, speaking of Xbox, in their partner preview that they showed off, let's have a bit of a chat around the things that were announced. So I guess we'll just kind of go through them announcement by announcement.
Yeah.
First one was FBC Firebreak.
Sorry. This isn't in order of the.
it's definitely not.
That's fine. FBC Firebreak, which is
Man, this looks good.
it looks all right. I think I don't know. I mean, again, like
I don't know, like, Control, but like with friends.
sure, yeah, no, definitely. I definitely, they're for those who don't know, it's basically it's a game set in the Federal Bureau of Control in the oldest house, and you play. It's like a sort of co-op multiplayer style.
Yeah.
Yeah, free player co-op gameplay.
Yeah, very kind of. I'm trying to think of another example. It reminds me a little bit of the Aliens Elite Squad thing or whatever that came out a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, did you watch any of the gameplay for this?
Yeah, yeah. It looks like fun. It looks like
Like, it looks fun. The gnome bit, I was kind of like, is that an AWE? Like, what are they doing with it?
sure.
And if there's specific item AWEs that you can mess around with,
Yeah,
like in group play, I'm very keen to see how that works.
Yeah, I definitely think there was. Yeah, an AWE. Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
it feels like a refreshing, like from the gameplay that we saw, a refreshing take on those kind of games.
Yeah.
I guess the thing is for like Remedy games, as this is obviously set in the sort of Control Remedy universe, the Remedy verse. Like I don't really go into those games for the gameplay. I go in for like the story and the intrigue and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, this isn't really going to be that as far as we know. Like this obviously is a very multiplayer focused kind of fun thing. I'm sure we'll have a good time with it. I'm sure it's coming to Game Pass, so I'm sure we'll all jump on it and play through it. But it's not.
Yeah.
Like, the gameplay is not usually what I come for.
Yeah. We need more. We need to find out more
Sure.
before they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like,
think that
I was thinking like they could do it. It could even be like a Titanfall thing of the first one where it was the campaign weaved into the multiplayer matches. Like, I'm hoping there's some narrative there.
I get the feeling they have to do something, right? Like, like it is weird to me to think that Remedy wouldn't put any kind of story beats in this game or any kind of interesting lore stuff.
It might be just more creativity of like, oh, here's the AWE that exists in the world.
Sure, which I think is fine. Like that's interesting, stuff.
I mean,
that gets
It might
added to
just
the
be
wiki
like
page.
more objects rather than like.
it's definitely like in the world, like it's like there's no like everything's out of control now. Like
Yeah.
so and I think you're on the right track with the Fireteam Elite stuff, the Alien.
Yeah.
Right, we'll be like go through A and then go through B section and and then fight a boss at the end or whatever, and
That's kind of
stuff
it's
like
kind
that.
of the vibe I was getting, but obviously they've got a bit
Yeah.
of a sense of humor to it.
The characters look like the Team Fortress characters.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they can't.
I can't get past it actually, so it's kind of
Oh man.
just out of place, kind of nearly.
Yeah.
So
I mean the
world,
best thing about
but
it, coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like that's great. That's exactly where it should be. My only worry is that like I don't know how well it's gonna super do. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as because I feel like the kind of people who play Remedy games like myself are kind of there for the interesting narrative and weird surreal shit. And this looks very very gameplay heavy.
I wonder if they're trying to attract a wider audience from that then.
I guess so.
like going-
Yeah.
Like, go into this thing and then people go, all right, well, this is fun. Maybe I do pick up Control. And because I'm sure at the very least they're going to tie it in with like Control 2.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure where this sits in the universe, but I feel like we're going to be like Leonardo DiCaprio, like pointing at the screen and stuff.
In the trailer, it does say something about the house
Yeah.
is a wreck or something, or something along those lines. Like it's something about the house. So
It looks like it might be a prequel to Control. Again, I guess that would kind of make sense. But
actually, yeah, no, that would work. Yeah, it's like they're trying to contain it, and then you kind of get like what leads up to.
I guess it might.
And then you finish the match. Jesse comes in. And...
Yeah, pre hiss. I guess I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure we'll give it a try. That I'll play just about anything Remedy throws out. So we've also got Chronos: The New Dawn, which is a new game revealed from Bloober Team.
Yes.
Who? Yeah, this looks right up my alley, to be honest.
Yeah.
Super keen.
I don't know. Like going back probably like a year or two, I was kind of like Bloober Team kind of was more miss than hit.
I don't know.
Yep.
People say that a lot, but I'm like, I don't really like. They're not a AAA studio, right? Like, it's not.
I mean, like the medium was okay. Blair Witch Project, I couldn't really.
Blair Witch Project wasn't great, but like the original Laserfair was good. Laserfair 2 was kind of not great. It was okay.
But, like-
Observer was really good. Like I feel like they're kind of just like inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But-
I mean, I just played Silent Hill 2,
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what I was going to say. Exactly, yeah.
and it like that will have legs for them to continue the series.
Yeah.
100%. They're basically finding their legs and proving themselves a little bit more with that. So, but you know, something new again. We're looking. This is uncharted territory, so we're basically in medium territory here. We don't know.
Yeah,
what we're
right.
gonna
Just kind
get.
of, we don't know what they're going to be. But it's coming out next year, apparently. So, like, not too long to wait. They've obviously been working on this in tandem with Silent Hill.
Yeah.
How many projects have they been working on?
That's pretty much
I
it.
feel like they were doing something else as well, weren't they?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't think so, or at least not publicly.
Maybe there was something rumored.
Well, I mean, there was probably an unannounced game, and this is probably it.
But yeah, it's kind of
Really?
what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously
yeah.
this is like new IP. This isn't based on anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks...
Yeah, Laserfair before it.
yeah, layers, yeah,
the
layers
remake.
yeah.
You mean when they fixed the achievements?
Oh my god, don't even get me started. It took so fucking long for them to do that. But yeah, I like the kind of little time travel sci-fi, like time traveling sci-fi shit. That's my jam. So I'm super on board for this. I'm curious like how combat heavy it's going to be. It looks like it's again because like Laserfair was no combat. Laserfair 2 also.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's like more of a medium vibe and
That-
it's more of a visual showcase than.
Yeah, right. Well, even the medium was very much like a stealth sort of adventure game, whereas I guess
It's more like a puzzle, wasn't it? Like
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, puzzle, and then some stealth stuff. But
They've been overshadowed by so many things that have done similar things since then, though.
yeah, for sure. Subnautica 2, getting early access release next year. Are we interested at all?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Not really for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought this was already a thing, to be honest. Is there another Subnautica?
No,
there's a spin-off that they did.
They
Okay.
did the Frozen one
Below Zero, yeah.
Below Zero. I wasn't really that keen on that
No
one.
one
It was
liked- no one
fine to
liked Below
play
Zero.
through. It had some really cool stuff in it. So if they kind of like, by the time you get to the end of the game, you start to see a few things, and you're like, they could have done something with the story here, but they really didn't do anything at all. It went nowhere.
Yeah.
So I would be keen. I don't care about the story. I mean, I like the way that the first one ended, but it wasn't, outstanding. It was just kind of like a cool, oh, well, something different.
Yeah.
But
Subnautica.
the exploring was really good for me.
See, like, I just don't like the surviving. Like, when someone says open world survival crafting
Yeah.
game, I automatically just shut it. Like, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah, well, I don't.
They're
Yeah.
probably like my least favorite series.
Yeah, and Subnautica, I've said this many times before as well, is just like, it's the game that got me into survival games.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was simplistic enough with its building stuff where I didn't get bored, because I hate the building stuff in survival games.
Yeah.
If I have to build anything like I have to build in Fallout 4, I'm done.
But you're right. Like, people love Subnautica, and it has such a real cult following, and just yeah.
Yeah.
It is either you love it or you hate it.
Yeah. I think it is. It is definitely one of the best examples in the genre, though, for sure.
Yeah.
This Wu Chang Fallen Feathers game, I vaguely remember them talking about something about this a while ago. I think we saw it in like a sizzle reel or something. But I might be wrong. There's so many of these like Souls-like style games.
I don't know if I have bias, but I just immediately think like this is just going to be like Wolong.
Yeah, I think like that's kind of what it looked like. It actually maybe that's what
That's
it was.
the impression I get.
Well, I think when I first
of
saw
course. Yeah.
it was like I was like, oh, they're doing like another Wolong style, and it's like, no, it's completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah. I'll probably like it looks really good, but I mean, I'm not really. I could go either way.
It is my kind of game, so I am definitely curious to see how they do it.
Definitely.
I played through Wolong, and I played through oh god, there's so many fucking Souls like that. We played the Lords of the Fallen, obviously, all the Dark Souls games. So I'm always keen for a new one, and especially considering we haven't got Wukong.
Yeah, definitely. I think you should check out that other one that I showed you as well. What was it called? Morbid.
Yes, Morbid. Yeah, right.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Got
that's
that on
another
the
good one.
playlist. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which is a fucking just an amazing title.
So this trailer looked amazing.
Yeah.
And then, is this the first time they're using Majima as a
Main character?
lead character?
Well, he was one of the lead characters in Yakuza 0, so it's like he played hard.
But like, you know, it's a solo thing.
It's a solo thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really, with all the gameplay in that they showed off, I'm like, I know these games are long as, but this looks like a very fun time.
It looks like it's gonna be one of their shorter spin-offs, like The Man Who Erased His Name. So I think this will probably be about the kind of thing I want to jump into, like maybe 20 to 30 hour game as opposed to like 60 to 80. But it looks fucking hilarious and great, and like, it has naval combat and shit, and just
Because I'm hearing like Infinite Wealth was like one of the best performing too as well.
People were saying like Infinite Wealth is like one of the highest rated games this year, and I've just not played it at all.
So I didn't. I just remembered now. I didn't include it in the show notes, but they're all getting physical editions as well for Xbox.
Oh really? Okay, that's cool.
The whole Yakuza series is getting physical editions.
That could be a good box set to get, to be honest.
Well, actually, it has a good box set if you pre-order this one. I think it includes is it Kiwami?
Kiwami 1
and 1 and 2 maybe. And basically it comes with a shell that has enough to fit the special boxes that they come in to have like a grid, like a book.
Oh, that's cool.
Collection.
That is really cool.
So yeah, definitely look that up because it is like a collector's thing, and they're doing that for Xbox. So that's really good. It's a limited run thing, I think.
Yeah, it's a limited run thing. So, what is it? Like a Dragon Gun, The Man Who Erased His Name, Remaster Collection, 6 Kwame 2.
Yeah, so they're definitely releasing them like slowly once they get them out. And you know what the wait line is like for like some of this stuff?
Yeah.
Like some games you have to wait 6-8 months, if not longer, for their actual releases. So
I keep thinking about starting up a Yakuza game, but I'm not sure. I might play 7. Maybe is probably the one to get into, I suppose, because it's on Game Pass.
I was playing 0 on PC, and the reason I stopped was because all I wanted to do was fish. But there was a specific spot on a bridge in the second area you go to. I don't know what it's called. But it basically glitches and breaks the game.
Oh.
And yeah, it just shuts the game down.
Oh, wow.
But
okay.
now I'm running from a different computer. I should give it another go. I'm right there. I can load it up and just see what happens. So,
we also basically they announced the Alan Wake 2 Lake House DLC is coming out on the 22nd. Cameron did call it, yes.
The release date for it, though, yeah?
Yes.
Because this was in the PlayStation Direct.
Yeah, they've talked about it a few times.
Ago.
They showed off a little trailer for it, so now they've announced it's coming out 22nd because that's the same day they're like
as the physical
definitive edition or whatever. Yeah, which I guess that makes sense. Release at the same time. I have it installed, ready to play because I'm very, very excited. Obviously, I love Alan Wake.
I'm very keen to check it out.
Phasmophobia, they've been talking about this, got delayed for a while, right? So now apparently they said it's going to be coming out on the 29th.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, especially like for the PlayStation version. Actually supports PSVR 2.
Oh,
which would be
sense,
fascinating. But yeah, so this looks. I've been waiting for a long time to try to check this out. So
Phasmophobia coming to consoles, I really feel like has missed the boat a little bit in terms of like the popularity of that game. Because I remember, like when it first came to early access, like streamers would play nothing but it.
I think maybe they didn't expect us to do it.
I'm sure they definitely didn't, right? Because it's
I don't think they were prepared for the amount of success this game had.
Sure.
It's currently rated at 96% with 580,000 reviews.
People fucking love Phasmophobia.
Yeah. And it's still in early access. And I'm just reading through approximately how long will this game be in early access. Current plan is to get full release late 2024. However, this may change depending on features added and how the game will progress through early access. So,
yeah, I guess
I'm not surprised it took as long as it did.
Sure, yeah, and apparently it has gotten better and better as the kind of years have gone on. But that kind of peer pressure, maybe I might play it. We'll see. I don't know. It does sound like fun, and I have seen a lot of like great videos.
It's definitely a group game.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
you're
For
playing
sure.
it with
You're
other
definitely not a
people.
solo
Or
game.
play
It's
co-op.
not gonna
I'm
be.
interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Wheel World.
So this was the one that was initially revealed as Ghost Bike, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, Ghost Bike. Yeah.
From the develop because I was like, this is a very like Sable kind of art style. Like,
Yeah.
who's it from? It's from the studio that did, is it Nidhogg?
What
Hey.
the fencing game?
Nidhogg.
Yeah, I think so. Hang on, let me have a look.
Yeah. Right. Hmm.
Yeah, Nidhogg. Okay, so oh wow. Okay, so it's the guys who did Nidhogg. All right. Or Nidhogg 2. Nidhogg 1 and 2. Okay, yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, it's like, is it the Sable studio? And I was like, no, like this is completely
It's
different.
completely different. That's great.
This looked great. I'm actually really keen for this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a relatively chill kind of.
Chill indie games, my cup of tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what there is to it, but
You get on a bike and you pedal.
you pedal and you look at nice environments and you get the little speed lines going and get into races and stuff, and there's a skull on the front for some reason.
Everything I love.
Sure.
In-game.
Yeah. I think it'll be a nice sort of cozy sort of game.
Yeah.
Mistfall Hunter.
Yeah, so this is interesting. PvPvE extraction.
RPG.
Yeah, they said it as a Dark Souls cross extraction game, I think.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to tick off the entire bingo list, they should have put some card mechanics in there and maybe some gacha. And
I mean, they got Nordic inspired adventures. That's fine.
yeah, okay, fair. You can play some Gwent. I don't know. I mean, I gotta be honest. This is
It looks cool, but I was like, not Game Pass. I don't know. I'll wait on reactions and see how it goes, and then
yeah, this does sound like the kind of thing that if it was in Game Pass, we'd probably do like, oh yeah, we'll have a look at it. But
we'll play. And now I'm just like,
yeah, I don't know. Which I feel bad for feeling that way, but also like, I don't know.
I know what my backlog's like.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the next one was Eternal Strands,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fantasy action game that is not popularized by Kojima. So despite its name is not.
Yeah, I thought this one looked like, what's that other one that's done by the Dragon Ball creators? The Dust whatever it is, Dust something. Dust Land or Dust World.
Oh,
or something.
Sand World. Yeah.
Sand World.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the characters were very much like that. I think.
I like the visual style quite a bit. You know, like
Yeah.
it very much has like it does look a lot like Immortals Phoenix Rising style, very colorful, very like bright and vibrant, but with really cool effects. And considering Immortals isn't getting a sequel,
It's a very
This one is coming to Game Pass, so I probably will check it out.
yeah, right.
no.
I think this is a good get, and that's early next year apparently. So that's like not too long to wait.
actually. I think that was a different one. I think this one looked like Spellbreak to me.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, Spellbreak for sure. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yellow Brick Games. What have they developed?
It kind of reminds me like visually of Prince of Persia as well, actually. That.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just talking about like colorful Ubisoft games here, but like they're like big particle effects and like really sort of smooth lighting and that sort of like fun non-dark fantasy stuff. And like the environmental physics stuff looks really fun.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah.
Actually, very colorful. I mean, that's
the
kind of
doors
got
up.
something going for it, actually.
There's
Compared
little,
to some of the
parkour
other ones we're
stuff
seeing
and
that are
a
same.
little bit of like giant enemies that you can mess up their limbs and stuff. That's kind of fun. All right. Eden Zero, I think, is the one you're thinking of. That looks like Sandland. Yeah, it very much has
Very possibly. Yeah.
Yes, it very much has that Toriyama.
Mm.
Oh, right, because it's based on manga, so that makes perfect sense. The guy who made Fairy Tail. So yes, okay. That the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that's just Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
The thing being that Fairy Tail is bad, but I don't know. It looks very fucking anime and kind of not great, to be honest. I don't know. It looks it's a manga-inspired action-adventure, they say, which I guess it looks very... the fighting in the game, because we just kind of see big combos and stuff. It looks very Dynasty Warriors, like fight a bunch of really boring, dull enemies and just kick the shit out of them.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to how they had that Zenless Zone Zero game, actually.
Yeah,
on the
okay, sure,
PlayStation.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I watched a couple of streamers doing that one. It was all right.
Yeah.
They're all very popular, though, those Hoya games. So, I mean, you could imagine they're all trying to, like, everyone over here is trying to copy Dark Souls or whatever. And...
They're all trying to copy MiHoYo. Yeah, exactly.
So,
Mouse PI looks really
Yeah.
fun.
So
That's
I've
fine,
seen
yeah.
Mouse a few times because essentially it went viral and they got picked up by IGN.
Yeah.
Trailer and all that. I didn't realize until when I was GCAP last week that Playside is actually publishing it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know that.
So Playside, essentially responsible for, why am I blanking on the name? Dumb Ways to Die.
Yes.
Like the Dumb Ways to Die mobile games.
okay.
They also just published Kill Knight, which looks very aesthetically pleasing that I want to pick up. I like the concept of this game, but I'm just wondering how much substance there is and how much I'm going to care about that kind of art style if
See-
it runs too long.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that grabs me with it is that, I mean, you're looking at Doom and stuff where they had the 2D,
Yeah.
like, it's like single plane enemies. Is like, this is a really crisp looking, like, version
it's
of
a
those,
boomer
like,
shooter, right?
old-
Like, that's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
The
So I
world-
really like the look of that. So,
The problem to me is the world looks so flat.
I mean, intentionally, though, right? Like, it's like I said.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Like it's a design choice, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm probably gonna load this up. Realize after half an hour that's probably not the right visual style. Like I just like draw a conclusion to like Cuphead in my head.
yeah, for sure. Cuphead, like, definitely that's what they're going for, right? That slightly racist, 1940s cartoon. Yeah. No. It looks like visually, I think, is really interesting. But my worry is exactly that. Is that like it looks like a arena boomer shooter kind of Doom style game, which we've had quite a few we've had a bit of a resurgence of those in the last few years. But
well, yeah, and the set piece does not allow for much freedom.
yeah,
You're only going to be on, like, the streets and in buildings, and then, like, then doesn't look like they're going to go
Yeah.
crazy with it. So
I'm just wondering how much I care about the black and white art style too.
yeah.
that's fine.
I feel one of the reasons why
okay,
Cuphead
you
works
think
so well is because it was in color, right?
What if
Cuphead works well because it has that style to it, but still so substance, so stylish.
What if at the end of the game you unlocked a mode where you manually can paint, instead of having a gun, you like get to paint the enemies in the world around?
And,
I just
maybe
wanna-
it's a
I want
co-op game,
color
and maybe
with it.
one of you is Mickey Mouse, and one of you is Oswald the Rabbit, and it's called Epic Mickey 2. I played that game. It's great. Or I guess, like, I see what you mean though. Yeah, it's like a Splatoon style thing would be kind of fun.
Yeah,
I don't know, I think this looks interesting. I'm curious. Like, I think to your point, Cameron, how long it's gonna like wear out its welcome. Like, is it gonna be like a short, like 4 to 5 hour kind of like fun thing where it has interesting ideas every level, or is it you play a couple of levels and you're like, yeah, okay, I kind of got it.
Yeah. It just kind of gives me the vibe it's going to be the kind of game that I'll play 1 or 2 levels and then I'll jump off because it's not engaging me.
Yeah.
Anyway. Blindfire. So adding game preview today. What is this meant to be? Like, is it meant to be just like the latest in the series of multiplayer competitive shooters, or
I guess it's like, well, I guess the idea is that, I mean, again, it looks very like cyberpunk fonty, like they're obviously leading into that,
Yeah.
but the idea is that you're fighting in like low light areas. It's always dark, and then you see lights, and so you kind of have to. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. The idea of being like, I can't see where my enemies are all the time, so I have to kind of position well, hide well, think about where they are, and keep an eye out for when I do see signs of life. It reminds me of that like black and white Bushido thing where it was like you had to. were hunting each other down as ninjas in like a black and white environment, and you were different colors, so you could hide in any. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
Oh boy.
I don't know if it'll actually be any fun. It looks it looks like VR bait, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say they released on Steam today, and they've only got 4 user reviews.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think it looks an interesting proof of concept, and I like the art style for one of these lit areas and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I thought it might have been extra characters for like the Ubisoft game or something.
it does look kind of like that, right?
For Extavine, I'm like, are they adding a faction? And I'm like, oh, it's Blind Fire.
No, yeah. I don't know.
But they do allude to the darkness a lot. Like they do say, seeing enemies in the dark or whatever.
I don't know if this is ever going to be like an early access, like outside of early access kind of thing. I don't really feel like this has a lot of legs to it. And then I guess the big one is Animal Well,
Yay!
which is a bit of a big surprise. Indie Darling of the Year, potential Game of the Year competitor. Basically, one of the best Metroidvanias ever made, apparently, according to a lot of people. Like, people are very, very excited about this.
Every time somebody mentions something about this, I always looked up to see if it was on Xbox yet. And I've done that like 3 times this year already. So
Did you just watch the Xbox trailer for Animal today?
No, I didn't.
It's just Donkey just being like, and the shadows of this.
yes,
Shadows.
I saw it.
Okay,
And then the shadow of Xbox releasing today or something like that. It was just
even the
stupid
shadows
Donkey.
have shadows. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard nothing but praise from every single person who's talked about it. So I think this is going to be a must buy now that it's out. And luckily, it's Cameron's birthday tomorrow. So maybe he might get a copy of it.
I was going to buy this in Conscript tonight.
Yeah, okay, well, don't fucking buy it. But yeah, that was pretty much it, I think. So again, like small stuff. It was very much like a partner showcase. So they were talking about third-party games and kind of what. I kind of wish a few more of these were coming to Game Pass. They were a little bit light on some of those, which was a bit surprising. But
I mean, I think we've had the conversation before, but like, I don't know. Game Pass to me lately just seems like it's just. Sure, it's getting like Black Ops 6 and all that kind of stuff, but then they're really subsidizing that with having some cheaper feeling Game Pass.
Sure, it definitely feels like the golden age of them putting in big new releases every month is kind of slowing down a bit. I think it also hasn't helped that they've decided that they're only going to be revealing the next 2 weeks of releases each time now, like they do with the ones leaving. Whereas it used to be, hey, we know pretty much everything coming out for the month, bar a few surprises here and there.
I think the thing that sucks at the moment is like you'd think like stuff like 33 Immortals and that you would get a release date here or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would have been a good one. Yeah,
or like an update on Towerborn or
yeah. There's a couple of things missing. No Silk Song.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they really should be doing updates. Definitely, like here's an update
I get what you mean, but like they can also have like a segment of, hey, here's a quick fire, like a minute of here's 4 quick updates for you or something like that. Like it feels really weird that strong marketing beats from like the last few years are just getting thrown to the wayside, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a hard one, right? Because there's money to be made, and they obviously need to make their deals, and looks like they're cutting back costs, and I guess maybe we'll just kind of see less larger indies on Game Pass. I mean, we have, to be fair, like I don't want to say like we haven't had a few good months of them, right? It's just been a slower trickle than we've seen in the past.
So overall feeling is just kind of like it's fine.
I think it's fine. Like I'm still getting good value out of it. Like I'm playing through Game Pass stuff right now and enjoying it. And
I've kind of dropped off as much. Like I'm just going through some of the indies that not just indies. Sorry, some of the Game Pass titles that we should be aware of, like 33 Immortals, Arc 2, like obviously we've got like Clockwork Revolution, that kind of stuff coming up.
There's a lot of first party stuff we haven't heard about for a while either. Yeah.
It seems a bit weird.
Yeah, I guess they're going to be releasing them on other platforms potentially, so maybe they're just gearing up for that.
Yeah.
So we had some news about Bandai Namco. They've had a tough year. which is they're not been doing super well. They've been looking to cut in their workforce and canceling a bunch of titles, and it looks pretty dire over there at the moment. Cameron, you want to?
Okay, so before we get too into the nitty-gritty of it, I want to talk about Japanese work culture.
Oh my god!
According to Bloomberg, citing sources familiar with the matter, the company is taking a traditionally Japanese approach to reducing staff and sending workers to rooms where they are given nothing to do, putting pressure on them to leave voluntarily. Bandai Namco Studios reportedly moved 200 workers to such rooms, leading to almost 100 resignations. Just such an interesting, different, work culture to the West. It's like, no, you go in this room, you sit in the corner, but you get paid for it.
Yeah. Well, there's a I mean, you get a real feeling of shame there, right? And I know a lot of people have been joking about this, being like, oh, great, I get to sit there for 8 hours a day.
Just like playing my Steam Deck all day, it's fun.
Yeah, and get paid. But I feel like a lot of people would actually be like, nah, you know what? Like, I actually want to do something with my life a little bit and actually
boy, you're shitless. Yeah.
Especially in game development, right? Where the kinds of people who tend to get into game development tend to be passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
I feel like that is like, it's fucked that they do this. Like, really, they should be laying them off with severance and kind of,
We say exactly the same thing about whole games that just disappear and never get released.
Yeah.
It's just like 4 or 5 years of somebody's life has nothing to show for it because you can't even show it because it's just been walled behind the property rights. You just don't want to talk about it. So
I attended a keynote from I'm trying to think of his name. I think his name's Teddy. And he made We Are OFK and
right. So it's a TED Talk.
This was at GCAP last week, and he was just talking about.
Pretty sure it was the TED Talk, is what Kyo said. But yeah, okay.
Anyway, I was trying to move past that. Cool. So he went to work as creative director for Ubisoft Montreal. I want to say
makes sense.
Yeah. Square Enix Montreal.
Yes, right.
And he was just saying, they were 2 years into the project, and then the whole idea of what they wanted their West Gaming division to be changed, and they
sold off Enix
project and
IDOS
and how
stuff,
just the raw emotion in his voice of I gave up this part of my life, I moved, I sacrificed so much, I created a team only for us to be essentially shafted.
Yeah.
And it sucks because there are that many games out there that just never see the light of the day because there's NDAs involved and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Which sucks. I always think it should be a case of all right, 2 years in, a project gets cancelled or something. Still let the artists that worked on that be able to show their stuff. People are still interested in this, and we should always be trying to preserve the history that came before us.
Yeah.
Not just one on the run.
But a lot of it is we wasted a lot of money. We don't want to be letting shareholders know about that. That's the other side of it, right? It always comes back to capitalism.
Yeah.
But it is surprising that Bandai has just had such a rough time of it recently. I mean, they have had some real fucking bangers in terms of their publishing.
I'm trying to think what they've done recently.
Well, anything Dragon Ball Z is Bandai, so
anything really anime related always comes.
A lot of anime stuff, yep.
Mm-hmm. They had Armored Core, that was Bandai as well. They published that as well, didn't they? Or did they not do that?
Well, because Bandai Namco, they did.
From Bandai.
Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero has apparently been doing gangbusters on Steam.
3 million.
It's doing all right.
They're one of their strongest releases.
Yeah, did in terms of Dragon Ball stuff, 100%. But they also they publish the Tales series, but they do a lot of anime stuff. They publish Tekken, Tekken 8 is one of theirs. It's crazy to think because Tekken 8 is also a very highly rated game. It killed it. That came out at the beginning of this year, but it's people fucking love that game.
So Dragon Ball Sparkling, we've got Unknown 9, which did that just come out? Or
no, I think it is. It's just coming out it's just coming out now, basically. I think today
I've seen reviews popping up. There was Sandland. That time I got reincarnated as a slime that we were talking about the other day.
Oh yeah, that looks bad to be honest. They do all the Sword Art games.
Online.
It's Blue Protocol was the one that really fucked them though, because that was their big online MMO.
Oh
push.
right. Yes.
And that just only came out in Japan. I know Kiku was talking about it. got cancelled. They're not releasing in the West now. They're shutting it down everywhere. But they've had a few. Yeah, they've had a few. Like they had a really good couple of years with your From games, your Armored Cores and that sort of stuff. But it just doesn't look like their anime games that they've been doing recently have been really hitting.
Which is really weird with that Sword Art Online one, because Fractured Daydream is supposed to be. It seems like it's very similar to Exoprimal, where it's like teams of actual people go in, do their stuff, and then meet up and fight a boss or something.
Ah, all right.
So it's a weird one, but I guess there's enough Sword Art following that maybe it would be popular, but.
I wonder if it's a licensing thing where it's like they're paying a lot of money to get the licenses to make these games or to publish these games for these brands.
I'm sure that would be one aspect of it.
Right, there's like the stuff like getting Jujutsu Kaisen, Sandland, Sword Art Online, Dragon Ball Z, Slime, My Hero Academia, Naruto, like Gundam. Like they are the publisher for anime games outside of in the West or like worldwide publishing, right?
Yeah. I did not realize until I just looked it up now that they published the Dark Pictures.
Yes. Yeah.
I did not realize that was Bandai Namco.
Yeah. Yeah. That was they're basically the big publisher for those. So. Yeah.
Yeah, so outside of what they've got, the only thing they've got coming after Dragon Ball is Unknown Nine Awakening.
Which is today.
Which is, sound. So.
Which I'm like somewhat interested in. It looks like a kind of weird, fun little game, but I don't know.
Apparently, Bandai came out to and denied the workforce bit as well.
Yeah, of course they fucking did, but
but like the cancelled games and that.
I mean, Konami was absolutely rotten for doing this back in the day when they were getting out of the games industry. It was they would do the thing where essentially they would reassign someone who was a game developer into cleaning toilets and stuff, and just like shame them until they quit, which is like a horribly common thing in Japanese workforce in general, not just in game publishing. But yeah, it is a real shame. But hopefully they can kind of spring back a little bit. And I would be curious to hear what kind of games got cancelled because of this. I wonder if it would be like other anime licensing stuff, because that would probably be very expensive. Speaking of things being cancelled. Halo Infinite's Battle Royale mode could have been a game changer, says the dev. I'm going to press X to doubt on that one, but Cameron, do you want to take us through the story?
Yeah, okay. So, former Stone Infinity dev has confirmed that a Battle Royale mode was in the works for Halo Infinite before being cancelled, which could have been a game changer. That's essentially it, right? There'd been rumors about potential Halo Infinite Battle Royale for some time. Popper posted on LinkedIn where he recently announced a new role as studio design director of Raven Software to say, I led a large team of designers working on a cancelled Battle Royale mode for Halo. I believe this product could have been a game changer for the franchise. We love playing it and working on it. It was a fantastic experience in spite of its cancellation.
They worked on it for like a couple of years, right? Was the talk, or on and off?
Well, this is like as open as rumors come.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everyone was like,
this was like worst kept secret kind of vibe, yeah. To me, like I'm wondering why they cancelled it. Like, did they just think like, no, we're just gonna reset the series and go with Unreal and like move like obviously 343 wanted a brand change and they renamed to Halo Studios and they're apparently working on that Halo CE remake,
it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like if it's going to be like a proper remake, that opens the door for them to be able to release a proper start to the series on multiple platforms.
PlayStation, Halo on PlayStation basically, which was the rumor.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense in terms of like training and all that, like having contractors and that come on that know Unreal, as opposed to having to learn their slip space engine.
Yeah, slip space, I think.
I don't know. I feel like
I would have played the hell out of this.
A Halo Battle Royale does make a lot of sense in some ways, but I feel like I think part of it being the engine concerns and the upkeep of something like that. Like the only reason why Fortnite stays relevant, right, is because they just keep putting stuff into it.
You know what the thing is with this? I think the reason it would have been cancelled would have been tied to the multiplayer success of Infinite.
How so?
If obviously they released the multiplayer for Infinite and it
Did really well.
received really well initially, yeah. But they haven't been able to keep up the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And then their numbers have dwindled off over the years and all that. And it wasn't until they had that, what was the update called? Wasn't there an update that had like firefighting and a whole bunch
Like
of stuff
season
in?
5
The
or
winter
whatever
update,
it was that they made.
It
Yeah.
wasn't until that they got a big traction back for that, but they've just never been sustainable with it. I don't think they ever realized how much work is actually involved in a live service game, and I think them having to they just went like, all right, this is fun and all, but it's probably not going to be what we need it to be to make money.
And a battle royale it needs to be a success quickly, right? Because especially if it's like 100 people needed for a match versus like 8 or 16 for a regular multiplayer.
Now, say if you can't get those numbers, then you're a general rival.
Exactly. And you put all this time into something that literally no one can play. And so then you're like, well, I got to fill it with bots. And then people will complain and be like, well, what's the point then? Yeah. It's a real self-fulfilling thing. And I think that if they spend a bunch of time after the release making this, and then by the time they got to putting it out, and they were like, oh, we don't have the player count to maintain this.
Yep. If Concord can't survive on PlayStation, of all platforms, then I don't know how this would have went.
Well, I think the free-to-play space is kind of, like in that regard, is kind of dying as well.
Well, it's going in a
Concord
different direction, I think.
Concord was a full, paid game.
Yeah, true, which is crazy.
So...
But if they're going to do a battle royale, doing it for when if they release a Halo 1 remake and doing a battle royale mode at launch for it.
Okay.
If it's cross-platform, you got a PlayStation audience, you got a PC audience, you got an Xbox audience. You got a lot of hype behind it. People love the original Halo. I don't
know. I just feel like battle royales the last few years too. Like, you think of Battlefield 2042, you think of like this.
Did that even have a battle? Oh no, it did. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like, that was essentially Dead on Arrival as far as I'm aware.
Well, that game was just bad. I mean, that game was Dead on Arrival in general. Like, didn't have a
and they've fixed even that, though.
They did.
They put some work in.
Reduced the numbers down for everything and now it looks like the next Battlefield is going to be much more contained. But, Call of Duty had a big success with Warzone and that kind of stuff. And, I feel like there is definitely I don't know.
I feel like they stepped it up though over time. Like they had Black Ops 4, they tested it and then worked it.
Blackout mode and that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure. I think you're right. And I think by the time
as small as testing that kind of idea goes, but
I'm curious what the new trend will be that everyone's going to be chasing next, I guess, because you're right. I think that battle royales have kind of had their day. Extraction shooters are kind of on their way out. As you can see, there are too many developers putting out games for it now, which means that the genre is basically dead. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess zombies became the extraction shooter essentially for Call of Duty.
For Modern Warfare 3, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of, and people fucking hate it.
I don't know where like trends are. I think there was an article that I was reading for last year's stuff that like action RPG and all that was going up in terms of numbers.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, definitely, like I think MiHoYo.
But I mean, like Baldur's Gate last year. Like
for sure. Yeah, like the more traditional CRPG stuff seems to be definitely.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see if we get something really special out of Dragon Age.
Yes, I'm actually very excited to check out the Valguard and see.
Because that I think might, if it's done well, might bring some stuff back. So.
That might be on my playlist for Game of the Year stuff because. But yeah, I kind of, again, this was kind of from a LinkedIn thing, so everyone's trying to big up themselves and say, hey, yeah, this would have been a game changer. This would have saved 343, etc., etc. But I don't think so.
I'm moving into a new role. Believe my.
Yeah, sure. Which fair enough. Like definitely, it's, if you're doing that kind of stuff, you definitely want to be putting your best foot forward. I just don't think it's true.
Next one. IO Interactive hopes its young James Bond will star in a big 007 quadruple
7 game.
Quadruple. Jeez. What was it? Where's Perfect Dark?
Where is Perfect Dark? It's on its way.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect Dark will launch alongside this, and it will just be like a game for those kind of stealthy. I don't know.
I mean, if there's anyone I trust to do a James Bond game, it's IO Interactive. I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, if I I mean, how different is Hitman to Bond, really?
I mean, Hitman. Well,
Like, okay, you think in terms of mechanics and all that,
mechanics.
what you would
Yes, yeah,
expect?
for sure. Yeah,
It's like, hey, we're just slightly sidestepping what we are already well and
he
talented
has hair
on.
this time. He doesn't always wear a tie. Yeah,
It's kind of like the
How do you
middle
know that?
ground between like Just Cause and Hitman.
sure.
I
Yeah,
guess you could say they need to come to like.
destabilizing governments versus just assassinating people. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like secret agent
Hmm,
stuff.
Right.
hmm.
So it's confirmed at the time that the game would feature a wholly original Bond story, but it hasn't revealed much about the project over the last few years. They had the CGI trailer back in
Mm-hmm.
November of 2020. 2020.
Fuck, 4 years.
It's not the
It's
gamification
crazy.
of a movie. It's completely beginning and becoming a new story, hopefully for a big trilogy out there in the future. Equally important and exciting, it's a new Bond. It's a Bond we built from ground up for the gamers. It's extremely exciting with all the tradition and all the history there is. Together to work on this together with a family of creating a young Bond for gamers, a Bond that the gamers can call their own and grow with. When
So,
was the last Bond movie?
it
Uh,
was Spectre, was it,
no, it
or was it after
was.
that?
It was after,
Skyfall.
Spectre was one of the last
no, it
ones,
was the
but I don't
one
know
after
if
Spectre,
they've.
and
Yeah.
I can't. It was all right.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Because I missed Spectre in the newest, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw Spectre. It was okay.
Hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
Wasn't great.
I watched the
No
Bond
Time to
movie,
Die
but
was the last one. That
When
was
they get
Okay.
to the end of the trilogy, they should call it World of Bondification.
World of Bondage. Yeah, that'll go down well. Um, I don't know. I think that I think it's real smart for them to be like, hey, we're doing a big thing with this. We're gonna
Yeah.
continue it. Like doing a. It's an interesting idea of doing a James Bond from an angle that hasn't been done before because the movies usually are Bond is relatively established outside of maybe Casino Royale. Um, and so them being yeah, this is going to be young, but this is Batman Year One. This is early Bond, on his early missions. Might still be in the Navy. Who knows? I don't know. I'm kind of curious actually. I mean, like I said, I trust IO implicitly to do a great job with this, but it
Yeah.
has been nearly
Yeah.
4 years since we've seen anything about it.
Yeah, well, they build some really, really good stories into their levels in
Mm.
Hitman,
Yeah.
so there's no way they couldn't come up with something really good with this.
So they cited the high regard players still have for the 1997 classic GoldenEye. I mean, I went back to was it the start of this year or last year?
Start of this year, I think.
Yeah. Went back to it, loved it. I don't want to speak too big about it, but I just hope we'll do a thing that will define James Bond in gaming for years to come.
I don't want
That
to
is
just
not-
speak a big thing about it, but this is the best James Bond game ever created and ever will be created. Is what
I
he's
mean,
saying.
if they catch us something like how much I love GoldenEye, I would be very impressed.
Yeah,
I mean, realistically,
yeah.
but I think IO is probably the best team to be able to work on something like this.
Yeah, agreed.
What is your favorite Bond game that you've played?
Oh,
Because I got a few opinions on this.
I mean, GoldenEye is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I played a lot of The World's Not Enough on the PlayStation 1 back in the day.
2000?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
it
was the
would've
one
been
after.
the one after GoldenEye. Yeah,
Yeah,
still
okay.
Pierce Brosnan. Yeah.
I think I played a bit of Nightfire.
Yeah, Nightfire. I played the driving
Is
one.
it
Nightfire was
Nightfire or
the driving
Nightfall?
one.
Yeah, I think
Nightfire,
so.
yeah.
Yeah. But then other than that, because that was just like an overnight hire or something, other than that, I've really just played GoldenEye. I have not played a lot of Bond. So
I played quite a few. Actually, I played that 007 Legends game was kind of fun, playing through
Yeah,
the old.
yeah.
The
yeah,
old
I've done
stuff,
most of the multiplayers in
yeah,
those games.
of course you have.
Yeah.
I really liked GoldenEye Rogue Agent.
Oh, that wasn't even a Bond game.
I mean, it's not.
It's not a James Bond game. It's not even. It's not
Same
even a
what?
James Bond
Same
universe.
what?
The whole thing was that it was a marketing ploy.
All right, the Nightfire then. Nightfire.
Nightfire is the correct
It's the
answer.
Resident Evil umbrella,
Yeah.
Operation Raccoon City
Operation
of
Raccoon- exactly.
Golden.
I loved the
GoldenEye.
perspective of let's play as the bad guy because of this accident.
And he has a golden eye. That's why. And they're like, oh, we're gonna.
Yeah,
put
I know
him-
that's why it's called GoldenEye.
Yeah, exactly. It's got nothing to do with GoldenEye at all. I somewhat enjoyed Bloodstone back in the day. I wish the multiplayer was a nightmare, but the actual single player was quite fun. Like I always enjoy James Bond games. Like I just have like a good time with them. They're not, they're not like top tier stuff. But yeah, 007
But they're
Legends,
enjoyable.
Best
Like,
Time.
yeah, they immerse you in for a little bit. The other thing too I want to say is IO announced today that they're creating a third-party publishing division, and they've signed Mind's Eye, their first AAA premium game from builder Rocket Boy, the studio founded by former Grand Theft Auto producer Leslie Benzies.
The Benz.
Yeah.
So just for context, Leslie Benz is like he is the closer when it comes to video games. He was basically the person that whipped the GTA games into shape when they were like, hey, we're massively over budget, we need some help, like this is not working, and he would come in and just fucking make that shit happen. So very keen to see kind of what they do there.
Yeah, Mind's Eye is a story-driven action adventure thriller set in fictional near-future Americana, featuring best-in-class cinematics, high-octane driving, explosive combat from legendary game director Leslie.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I'm very interested.
That just makes... I want the Spy Hunter games to come back.
Like a
It
proper
was
one.
so good. Yeah.
I feel like there's a real lack of like cool secret agent shit going on at the moment. I feel like that's a niche that really needs to come back.
Yeah, Spies need to make a comeback.
Yeah. We need to be seeing...
I feel like they will. We'll have Perfect Dark. We'll have...
Yeah.
007,
Well, hopefully
like-
we'll see if it ever comes out.
Yeah.
This last one's a real short one, but X Defiant producer says there are no plans to shut down after season 4.
I like what you did there. The short one.
Yep.
What, the game or the...
Well, we don't know. That's, to be fair, he's kind of damned if he does or damned if he doesn't say anything about it, right? Because everyone's going to be like,
Yeah,
if he doesn't say anything, they're like, well, it's definitely shutting down. And if he's like, it's staying up, everyone's like, that's of course what you would say. It's shutting down.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's not shutting down.
It's not shutting down, apparently. So he did basically say that they have not done a lot of marketing for it because they've been busy actually trying to make the game good.
Well, they're only on season 2.
Yeah.
So
It's only been, 6 months?
And they're talking about won't shut down after season 4. So
they've just released some stuff about season 3 and 4. So I don't know. I mean, like X Defiant, we talked a little bit about in the past about how Ubisoft are in a bit of a weird spot at the moment. If you're listening if you're a patron, listening to the pre-show, we were kind of going through what Ubisoft has coming up over the next few months, and it's not looking great, to be honest. So I can understand why people are like, we heard that X Defiant underperformed, even considering it had like a pretty low bar to hit. So
yeah, and what was it? It was Guillermo was talking with Tencent or something, was it? Or
about
somebody was
basically
trying
taking
to
the
buy
company private again and just buying it all
Yeah.
up. Yeah, I don't know. Ubisoft's in a weird spot, so I think people expecting X Defiant to maybe get shut down as your classic free-to-play initial success but fast drop-off story is like we've seen it 1,000 times already. So I can't blame people for being a little bit skittish.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys thinking about playing it? I know, Kia.
I mean, I completed it.
I need to finish it off. I've got a lot of it to do, so I wouldn't mind. I keep wanting to go back to it. I
enjoyed it for what it was. Like, if they added title updates or anything, I'd definitely jump back on it. But
I've got Overwatch on my mind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's again a lot of news this week. It's been a busy week as compared to last week. So let's keep it rolling. We've got our Game Pass updates. So we talked a little about this last week, but Inscription got added October 10th. We had the South Park Fractured Butthole added on the 16th. Donut County got re-added on the 17th. MechWarrior 5 Clans, I think it was, is
Clans.
Is this like a spin-off? Or
yeah, it's like a pseudo sequel, kind of using the same engine but new story.
Yeah, they kind of always did that.
Yeah.
With
so this
those
is
games,
the Far Cry New Dawn to Far Cry 5.
I guess so. Yeah, I think that's kind of what they're going for. Like, I still have MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries to finish. So, and I'm slightly worried that now this has been added, that it's probably going to get removed pretty soon. So,
damn you, Lee.
Yeah.
Damn you.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was the only person I saw play it.
I think Baron von Neumann was playing it as well. He helped me out with something.
Damn you, Baron.
I got sucked into the co-op. I do actually enjoy the MechWarrior games quite a bit, but they're very like technical in terms of like it's a lot to be like managing, like 4 different mechs and then like putting your weapons on each of them and knowing which one to put on a mission and then picking a mission. I don't know. I've got it re-downloaded.
Baron's all about the hard and technical games.
He is. That is true. That is very true. So, I will probably go back to it, but it has been on sale multiple times, so I might just pick it up and just be like, oh fuck it. It's been like $20.
Yeah.
Black Ops 6 is coming on the 25th, although that's kind of like, again, early access. It's actually coming out on the 31st, really.
I'm still gonna play it. I wanna do zombies.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely jump back into it.
I'm at about 13,000 zombies.
Only like 36
of the 50.
Yeah, that's where I'm about 36%, I think, is kind of where I got to. I ended up dying yesterday because I got a phone call and I was like, oh fuck. But it's like whatever, doesn't really matter. Modern Warfare 3 is coming to, I think, adding to PC or something. I'm not quite sure.
No, they're
cloud.
both to cloud,
Sorry,
because Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, all cloud.
Yeah.
That was the main add-ons.
Which makes sense. And then Ashen is also coming back on the 29th.
I wish I could get the cold working for Ashen.
Oh, really?
Like, I've tried to do it with a friend before. I just couldn't get it working.
I would love to play Ashen,
really
but those weird achievement numbers, they need to put out another DLC for that game or something.
1337.
That's so weird. Leaving, we got Frog Detective, which is a nice, easy, fun game. Headbangers, which apparently is quite difficult. Ink Illuminati, which is also quite difficult. Lonely Mountain Downhill, and Mineko's Night Market.
Yeah.
I think Frog Detective is the only one there that's pretty easy.
Yeah, Frog Detective, I definitely would recommend everyone just give it a go. Like, it'll take you like 2 to 3 hours. It's real straightforward.
Yeah, exactly.
Night Market's like very long.
Yeah, Night Market looked okay, but I had a look at the achievements and it's like, I don't really want to spend 35 hours playing a cozy game that I'm just rushing. Like, maybe if Alison wanted to play it like when it came out, maybe.
It's the kind of game that you'd like just do a little bit here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's the kind of thing you'd buy and just, put some time into every now and then, but I'm not.
I wanted to check out Ink Illuminati, but because it was game preview without achievements, I just never got around to it.
Yeah, and apparently the achievements are pretty rough. Like, the master difficulty is really, really difficult.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I started Lonely Mountain a long time ago, and it's had a bunch of DLC updates since then as well.
Big ratio
I don't know
on that.
exactly.
Pretty high TA, right?
Yeah. It's a really nice one though.
Yeah.
Like it's my kind of game. It's just like I just had it there to load up to do whatever whenever, and I never finished it. So, but I think it's kind of weird with the, like, don't see a whole lot of the. I don't know if there's a collection of the DLC or what, but I just have to have a look at what's available, because it's all separate by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So it's all expensive separately.
Of course.
So
The Game Pass model, right?
Have you ever played Descenders, Keo?
yes, I have actually. Yeah. Actually, it looks like it's...
I just don't think I don't think cycling games when it comes to you, but thinking about it makes sense.
He's gonna play Ghost Bike, right? That'll be
kind of. Yep. Actually, it's pretty cheap. Everything's free except for Edfall Island,
Which is like $20.
Yeah, or you have to get like 23 something with the main game. There's no bundle.
That's weird. There's no bundle.
Oh, yeah, there's a bundle. There's a bundle.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Keep an eye out for it on Black Friday then, I guess.
Exactly right. Yeah. I just like.
Are we going downhill?
Yeah, I like the skill-based stuff, really, and you just have to have a constant flow going down the hill, and just do like a perfect run. So, and it's just like one of those things where it's like Descendants is kind of a little bit annoying, because it's just like a 3D perspective, and there's just so many things in the way to get to your objective, and you'll probably fall off.
Right.
So, but yeah. But Lonely Hill's nice. So, at least try before you buy kind of thing while it's in Game Pass, if nothing else. So,
great. We've also got our theme. Kia, what's the title for our theme again?
All right. The I had it in the name of the last episode from 2 weeks ago.
I deleted it. I want to see.
And then you delete it. I'm like, oh, I should have put it in the base thing. I'd have to look up the name again, because it's like
every 2 months. We do it for 2 months.
We do it every 2 months.
Yep. So for September and October, it's And Stay Down, which is for finishing DLC and title updates for your backlog. You guys been working on your DLCs, your backlog? What have you been doing?
I did all my Far Cry 5s.
Oh, nice.
I have been. Yes.
DLCs.
Definitely.
Did my Borderlands 3s.
Yep, me too.
So a lot of the stuff on my list, I have been working on DLC. So I mean, we could
Let's get
let's
straight into what we've
see.
been playing. Yeah, we'll start with you then.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to go. Because for DLC, I've done all of the Painkiller Hail and Damnation achievements
Was it the
for the
360 one?
DLC. It is the 360 one.
I always wanted to play that, but I never found like a copy of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a physical copy, and the DLC was only available in not Australia.
That's right. That's why. Yeah, I remember looking at it because it wasn't in New Zealand either.
Yeah, so we just had to find ways to get access to the DLC before the store shut down, basically,
Mm.
to do it. So it was good to get a hold of that to kind of do it because it was on my list of just things that I had a physical of years ago that I just could never complete because of the DLC issue. So, and there's a few things like that. So bloody Dead to Rights Retribution free
Oh yeah.
DLC not available in Australia. It's like what? Why? Why? Lego Dimensions was another one I did as well. And I'm currently working on the Need for Speed Shift DLC as well. So I'll talk about
Oh
that in a
yeah.
moment.
Okay.
So Painkiller Hell and Damnation was really, really interesting. Like it's just like each of the DLCs threw you into a different theme. And like there was one that was basically like a World War II kind of one, and all the enemies kind of looked like demons with like the helmets and stuff, and had some really interesting enemies. And there was a really weird. I posted it in the screenshot chat. There was like a witch on a broomstick, and I'm like, where the fuck is this enemy? And where is it shooting me from? It's literally a witch that flies across the top of the level, and then disappears, and then comes back. And I'm like, this is
Just
really
getting
cool.
strafed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just doing the little flyby and all this kind of stuff. So there were nice little surprises in each of them. And one of them had like an Area 51 area where you had to fight a UFO.
Hmm.
There was a the I think it was the vacation. One had like a really it was probably the best boss fight I've seen. It was just like this huge hulking like it was just like a golem thing with a hammer, but it was like shiny blue and this and that. And yeah, so it was nice. So, but overall, the game is like it's just a nice game to play. But I mean, it was slow. It was way too slow. So
Right.
the levels lasted 40 to 50 minutes per level because they're
Jesus.
so damn long. And
Yeah.
being the 360, there were so many enemies. You'd end up with like six or 700 enemies by the time you'd finish the level.
Yeah.
And you had to go from area to area to area, and it would wall you off every single time. So basically, you're in all of these tiny arenas where you had to kill all the enemies in the area that would spawn slowly and two or three at a time.
It's starting to sound like
And
Serious Sam 3, where it's just
it is
yeah,
very serious, Sam. That's a perfect
yeah,
example, actually. So, with kind of like the old school Call of Duty zombies things, because there was like a prison level and this and that, and all
yeah.
felt
Right.
very much the same kind of thing. But also in the main game, I believe you have to collect like all the souls in a level, and you have to kill the enemies in their soul spawn. But the souls take like 2 or 3 seconds after the enemies die to actually spawn.
Oh my
So you
gosh.
kill like two or three enemies and just waiting around for the souls to generate.
That's brutal.
It was good and bad. And each of those deals had its own unique weapons as well. There was
Mm.
like one special one that was unique to the DLC. The best one was like there was a like it was a mace that basically turned into a flail
Oh.
because like yeah, it was really good. And it was left trigger to turn it into a flail, and it would just like continuously fly all over the place, and it would get red hot and then just be killing enemies everywhere. Or you just kind of whacked enemies with the right trigger. So it was alternate fire on the left trigger or normal fire on the right trigger, so you kind of had different things. So there was stuff like a shuriken launcher that also had like a electric beam basically.
Hmm.
So and one of the achievements is to basically get special enemy kills, which was do stuff like set them on fire with a flamethrower and then kill them, or
Right.
but it was all generic. It was just kill special enemies. So it was just like use one thing like it electrocuted you and then shoot them with the normal weapon or whatever. So the Lego Dimension stuff was so easy. It's basically 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. If I just set up my kit and then just did what I needed to do with the characters, there was so little that I had to do in the game. It was stuff that I just never went into the menus to do. And it was like, get level 2 upgrade for the Batmobile, get level 3 upgrade for the Batmobile, paint the Batmobile pink.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And there was
stuff.
like 9 or 10 achievements that were like that. And then there was a couple of DLC packs. There was the Simpsons pack, the Doctor Who pack. There's just like a couple of things like that.
I'm still amazed they got all the licenses for that game. It's so weird to think about, right?
It's so good, but they really could have went gung-ho with the achievements and then just added achievements for every single one. But they really only added achievements because there were the story packs, the level packs, and then the character packs. So the story packs were like expansions. They had the Ghostbusters 2016. They had Fantastic Beasts and the Lego Batman movie, which were 3 levels added for each of them. And then the level packs were 1 level, which was stuff like Homer Simpson gets a level, and it's just like a Simpsons level. Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff like that. And then the character packs all had a world. So every single, like Chima, all these things that didn't have level packs just got a world. And they weren't any achievements for anything like that. It was just, like, I didn't go into like any of these worlds, really. So if I wanted to sit there and get all the gold bricks or whatever, just one day sit down, like I'm at the end of my time with the Lego packs or whatever, just kind of like go through and get all the bricks. There's so much stuff that I haven't even seen in the game because I just didn't go into the Chima world or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So, and like there's a world for all of the level packs as well. So it's like you might have the levels, but then you actually have like a world hub for Fantastic Beasts, and it is built out like Manhattan or whatever, you know. So it's like whole city areas. It doesn't matter that Ghostbusters 2016, and Fantastic Beasts all happen in the same place at different time periods, different worlds. It's all still Manhattan, whatever. So they kind of there's a way to cheap out on that.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how the IP licensing works with that. Like, do you just make a deal with Lego and then they have the access to that IP?
I guess so, because like Lego already have done the deals to do the mini kits, right? Like.
Yeah, and well, I mean, like everything else, all the mini kits are numbered, right?
Yeah, right. Of course.
So they all have a piece name.
Yeah, right.
Or number. So, you know, it'd be in their data bank somewhere. And, you know, they're probably using all of that stuff to make the stuff that they make now. So,
yeah, true.
Very easily. Did somebody else want to go before I move on?
Yeah, I'll just run off a couple of things. Wolfenstein 2, I talked a little bit about it last week. I finished the second DLC, which is the easiest one. Finished the third one as well. It was a little bit tougher.
Mine
Leben for both of them. Yep.
Nice.
And so all I have left is Mein Leben for the first DLC. I've done the 3 challenges. One of them was really fucking hard. I got towards the end, but the tricky one is that the first DLC is the only one that has like a big boss fight at the end of it and very little like stealth mechanics. So it's very much like the other ones, like you had some level of, like the second one is like all stealth, and the third one is kind of a mix. Yep. So like you can really use that to your advantage, whereas like this one is like, nah, you got to be just getting in there with your dual shotguns and just kind of fucking things up. So I got decently far, but like you die and you're just like, I just don't want to do another run right now. So so I spent some time doing the base game because again I have to restart because my fucking collectible achievement glitched. So I decided to restart that on Death Incarnate or whatever. That's the one below Mein Leben.
I am Death Incarnate, I'm pretty sure.
So I'm just doing that. I'm about halfway through. I'm just got through the courtroom scene, which is the halfway point of that game. And so, yeah, I'm enjoying it for the most part. But that game is a lot more fun when you can just kind of run and gun and just having a good time with it. It doesn't hold like it still works, but I just don't like. I'm enjoying the challenge, but I also in the back of my mind I'm like, can you imagine doing this on this difficulty with no saves? Like it boggles the mind that that's even a thing that's in the game at all, let alone having an achievement for it. But Yeah. It's tough. And I'm definitely playing differently, but thankfully the DLC has given me some good experience and tips of how to kind of do
Training.
the base game. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So yeah, that's kind of been my like play when I don't really feel like playing anything else and just kind of making some progress. It'll be really good. I'm going to try and get every achievement but mine Laban and just kind of have that game be essentially done because it's been sitting on my tag for years. Other DLC. I did the Alan Wake 2 DLC, the Night Springs DLC, in sort of preparation for for Lake House. It's short. It's like 2 hours, maybe closer to 2 to 3. You play as 3 different stories. One of them where you play as Rose, the Alan Wake's biggest fan from the diner, in her own story in Night Springs around how Alan Wake has been kidnapped. She has to grab a shotgun and go save him. It's very, very funny and very meta. The second story you play as Jesse Faden from Control, which was super cool. And the whole thing is that like it's set before Control, so it's her looking for her brother. And things get weird as they always do in the Control world. And then the last one is you play as Sean Ashmore's cop character.
This is the one I'm excited for.
It's so much fun. Again, like these are all very short experiences, but his is very much like it's like a Doctor Who style thing, like time traveling, multiple alternate dimension thing, quantum leap jokes all the way through. Like the very beginning of it is him having a conversation with Sam Lake, who's explaining why he has so many acronyms and like he's basically explaining the very convoluted plot of the Control Remedy universe, but in a joking way. It's fucking funny, and it was really cool. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. Again, it is relatively short. I think Lake House is going to be more like actual story stuff. This is all very like spin-off stuff, but there is very much a question of like, okay, like it's Night Springs and it's kind of like a joke thing, and like every episode shows up in like presented by Wayland Dorr and teleplay written by Alan Wake, and so it's like it's an episode of the show, but did it actually happen? Is it an alternate universe? How does it relate to what we're doing? Jesse shows up in a couple of them. It's really interesting. There's some Quantum Break jokes in there. It's really, really good. I had a fucking blast going back through it. And I was thinking back on it, like, because we gave it Game of the Year last year. And going back to it, I was like, was this game as good as I remember? I was like, yes, it's still fucking...
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still an experience unlike any other, really. Even
I'm
if the gameplay's
slowly spooling up to do a bunch of these games. Like, I've got to finish Quantum Break, and then I'll be like, I think I'm ready for some of the other stuff. So
hell yeah.
So Nikita's like working more like practicing narrative design and choices in gaming and all that. It's like, you need to play this.
Yeah.
She's watching the preview with me this morning. I'm just like, if there's one game you need to play, it is Alan Wake 2.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. A couple of real other just quick ones. I have one big one that I want to talk about at the end, but a couple other quick ones. I played Indica, which I mentioned to a few people. It was on sale. It is a game where you play as a nun, who has the devil in her ear, and so as you're doing things, being a nun, there's just the devil talking to you over and over and over again. And so she gets given a letter and gets told to deliver a letter, get on a train, and it's set in like 19th century, like an alternate history Soviet Union kind of thing. They talk, well, not Soviet, but like Russia, because they talk about Tsars and that kind of stuff. And so you kind of go on this like little like journey that kind of just spins out of control as things go crazy. Basically, the train that she tries to get on derails, and there was a bunch of convicts on it, and she meets up with one of them, and they have to go on an adventure, and it's super strange and weird, and it's a game with like a capital M message.
Yeah.
But I fucking loved it. It reminds me a lot of think like Plague Tale sort of gameplay, like not combat wise, but in terms of like puzzles and like third person adventure solving kind of things. It's a short game. It's like maybe 3 or 4 hours. Very surreal, very kind of weird and interesting, introspective. Says a lot about religion, obviously. Definitely recommend it. It's get it on sale because it's a short game. Like you don't want to. It's not like but yeah, it's
It's not an FMV, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. But it is like surprisingly high quality graphical, Like, it looks good for the most
Yeah,
part.
okay.
Like, for like a small little like indie style game, I was like, this was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, okay.
It also like changes genre. It has a little like fun genre changes and stuff, and art style changes. And again, I don't want to spoil it because it's like experiencing it is kind of the fun thing about it. But it's one of those like you play it once, you have a cool time with it, and you're kind of done with it. And then I started today. I was just kind of looking for something to play. I started Kona 2, which is on Game Pass. It's a sequel to Kona 1, as you would expect. Which that game ends with you being chased by a Wendigo and escaping on a boat. So the game begins with you on the boat, and I had to remind myself what happened in the first game. But yeah, you're a detective in the Great White North in Canada in the 1970s. You've been sent there to investigate some stuff, and things have gone real weird. People are like freezing to death, and like there's these weird creatures, and like it's kind of like it has a similar atmosphere to Resident Evil 7 in that it was like, but mostly in like the atmosphere, not necessarily like there are enemies. Like again, there are enemies. Like you do have like some gun stuff, and you can fight wildlife and stuff. But it's very much like you're going around mansions, you're pulling up drawers, solving puzzles, and kind of it's very oppressive. It's very weird, and I'm enjoying it for the most part. You definitely want to use a collectible guide because there are a lot of collectibles. There's a video guide you can follow, but so far so good. I'm about halfway through it. It's not a very long game. I think it's like maybe 5-6 hours, depending on kind of how you play it. But there's an achievement for playing on the hardest difficulty, which is pretty straightforward, and one for not killing any real animals. You're allowed to shoot the ghost animals that come after you. But yeah, there's kind of like it turns out like it's an experiment of some crazed like copper tycoon who lives up there in the wilderness and has kind of gone mad, and he found some shit that he wasn't supposed to, and it blew up, and now everything's gone crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I like the first game a lot. This is very much like they took the first game and were like, how do we actually make this more playable? Like, it looks better, it plays better, like, it's a lot more user-friendly. The original game is kind of a bit, but it's kind of thing where it's like, you have like a health bar, and you also have like a cold bar, and you want to try and get from fire to fire to make sure you don't freeze to death. But the game's pretty forgiving. Good addition to Game Pass, I think.
Yeah, I need to keep an eye on that then. Sounds like something I'd want to check out. Oh, yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it is Game Pass. Yeah, definitely give it a go.
Both of them are on Game Pass.
Oh, they're both? Okay, yeah. I play both of them. Kona 1 is a little bit rough around the edges. But yeah. Cameron, you played some stuff?
I've mostly just done like a whole bunch of updates, so a lot of it is like the same as prior weeks. I did Forza Horizon 5 hide and seek mode. As much as I love Forza Horizon, this really didn't need to be a thing.
No, it really didn't. It's really bad, to be honest.
We all did that, yeah.
Like a cops and robbers mode would have been so much more substantial. This just feels like
I think it's an interesting concept, but I think the way they did it is just bad.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's an idea that needed more time in the oven. Like, this is something that I expect the community to come up with, not the developers. So there was that. I've been working through Warframe with Corey, did a few updates of that. It's just grinding away though. Like, most of the base game is like complete 5 weapons, level 30, and just the kind of thing that takes time. The main thing I've been working at the moment is Far Cry 5 with Nick and like Mad Rocketansky. Man, this game is so much better with the co-op partner.
Yeah.
Like, co-op just makes a turd shine, essentially.
I really feel like I would have enjoyed the game a lot more
like,
if I'd had someone to play with.
Yeah. There's just so many aspects of that game that I'm just like, yeah. But at the same time, enjoyed Far Cry 5 so much that I've just jumped into New Dawn. And
I like New Dawn. Yeah.
It's essentially the same content. I don't know how I feel about like the different areas having like different levels as opposed to like a typical Far Cry game, but
I kind of prefer it in terms of like it sort of funnels you in a direction at least. I mean, you can kind of say, fuck it, I'll just do whatever.
I mean, when the other games though, you could just go off in this direction and just get an outpost, that kind of stuff. I'm just like, kind of want like a little bit more freedom, but I get what you're going for, and it's still pretty cool. I tried to start Dredge DLC.
Oh, yep.
I played 15 minutes of it, and then my family kicked me off the game because they're like, this looks really cool. We want to play this.
Yeah.
So I need to go back to Dredge DLC. I think that's it. Oh, and Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
So
nearly done.
It's mostly been getting Far Cry 5 done, and then Borderlands 3 we're essentially down to the arms race.
Last 3 achievements.
Yep. Did you work out if it was solo? I think it's solo.
I guess we'll see how it goes. We
We're
haven't
gonna
had
we're
a
gonna
chance
find out
to.
Yeah,
tonight.
We'll
you
probably do
haven't.
it after
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess I'll go on with the rest of the stuff that I've been doing. I dipped my toe back into Arkham City,
Ooh.
the DLC, because I'm like, right, I need to load this up and I need to see what I want to do about getting all of the DLC stuff done.
Yeah.
The problem with that game is it's such a fucking chore getting all of the 114 or 87 medals or whatever they
Yeah.
want you to do in each mode.
Nintendo.
Um, yeah, because you have to do what Harley Quinn, Nightwing, Robin, and
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Oh, back. No,
Yeah,
back.
and,
Back. Yeah.
yeah,
What?
Catwoman.
Yeah,
It's
Catwoman. Yeah,
Catwoman.
Catwoman. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to do like the 87 original medal stars or whatever, 3 stars in each of the levels for just the combat and predator challenges. But then they have the story campaign sets, which are basically a page and a bit. It's like 12 or 18 different sets of 3 missions. You have to go through and do map, 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 and then knock them out and get them. And I just don't want to do them. I never want to do them,
Yeah.
but I also want to do the games for Windows Stack and my Xbox One version. I'm
I,
just like, okay.
that's brutal.
So, I mean, because I've done everything. I mean, the main thing I've done in all of these games is played the campaign of the games for Windows and the 360 one, and got the Calendar Man achievement
Yeah.
in the
Right.
Xbox
Right.
One version. So that's the one I barely touched at all. I'll leave that till last. But like it's just unnecessary that there was so much of the same thing, really, in the add-ons.
Yeah.
So it's just unfortunate, just because it's just annoying.
I got the 360 version. It's non-backwards compatible. I have to finish it at some stage. It's just,
Exactly,
yeah,
which is
really
why
unfortunate.
I've been hitting all of these other games, which leads me on to the next Need for Speed Shift. I've started playing again because I said, right, I've done all the multiplayer in all of the Need for Speed games on the 360. There's a few games I went through and I checked which Need for Speed games that I had to do the DLC in. The only ones I have left are Need for Speed Shift, Shift 2, and Most Wanted. So, everything else is just like done. It's done. All base game left.
Wow.
So, so if I can do the DLC in these 3, then I'll be motivated just to go through and knock out the base game on all of the Need for Speed games on the 360. And then essentially I'd just be left with most of the stuff on the one and the shitty Need for Speed self-titled update.
Yeah. Which, like,
Which
hey,
is
I think that's okay.
okay, but I'm probably going to go back to it. I actually jumped into the game and retooled my car, and I'm doing better even now, like even better than I was before. So there's potential. I could still keep trying. So I'm working on Shift to start. Shift is an interesting one because all of the achievements outside the multiplayer achievements are basically just get like bronze, silver, gold, and epic medals. Then their version of platinum, even though it's a platinum color. And you have to get 20 of each of those. So that's a bunch of the achievements already. Get to level 50 for your character, and the main thing is do the world tour.
Yeah.
Just the world tour unlocks at 250 stars, and each level has every race has 3 stars, and if it's a set of 5 races, each race has 3 stars, all that kind of stuff. So they add up really quickly, but they have basically with the 2 DLC packs, the exotic and the Ferrari packs, you can just do them and have enough stars.
Yep. That's what I did.
You don't have to touch any of the base game at all. And
did.
then do the main world tour achievement in the main game, and then whatever hell you need to do, like the world tour and stuff for those packs, and then you're done. So all I did enough to get 180 stars, which unlocked the DLC because you had to have that many to unlock tier 3 where the DLC sits, and then get to 250, and then you can unlock world tour and do that. So I'm nearly done with the Ferrari pack, basically. So, and then I'll be good.
Yeah, sweet.
So, yeah.
That was one of the weird Need for Speeds that I just played for some reason. I hadn't played a Need for Speed in years, and I just fired that one up because I just had it. It was on sale or something, and like I had a decent
Yeah.
time with it. But whew, yeah,
The last time I loaded it up, I didn't like it, but this time I actually like it. It feels good. It still feels good.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's just a weird one. The only other thing that I've been doing is that I've just been like at night going to sleep, just sitting, just doing some open world stuff in like the Star Wars Outlaws. I haven't really progressed the story enough to fix my ship to get off the first planet that you crash on.
right.
So because that's just the way it goes with these games. And then so I'm kind of like in the middle of fixing my ship, which is, it's not a spoiler really. It's just kind of like it's
Happens like the first
introduces
hour. Yeah.
introduces you to the world, all that kind of stuff. And then we in a party with you guys the other night, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm fucking done with this Star Wars card game. And you're like, oh, it's a buck, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's it. And then the next thing that happens, because I'm like, you're right, I don't have to play this card game again. I start exploring a little bit, and the next thing I come across in a weird alley was another sabacc
Yep.
table.
Yep.
And I'm like, right, well, there's a collectible locked behind this one. I'll just do this one. And I'm like, oh, damn, I kind of like this game. I kind of like sabacc. It's
Sabacc's
actually
great.
not bad, actually. It's a good game. It's kind of good. So, and I wasted most of the money I'd earned already on the planet trying to beat a character, but eventually got it. And then I'm like, well, I basically earned my money back. It's okay. So hopefully I'm done for now. I can ignore that and then just do the rest of the game because I'm not going to get stuck doing sabacc. And
In the wise words of Qui-Gon Jinn, whenever you gamble, eventually you lose.
yep, there you go. Yep, I nearly lost all my cash, but gave me enough to get it back. So, but I mean, other than that, I need to make a lot more progress on Star Wars. I've kind of been fooling around with all these other things, just because I've been in a bit of a cleanup. So, but yeah, that's me. So you have one more.
Yeah, well, I guess I
mention.
also will just say that I finished Persona 5 Tactica because I was worried about it
Alright.
leaving Game Pass. Turns out it's not leaving
Right.
this batch, but it might probably be leaving in the next one. Fun game. Didn't need a second. Really did not need a new game plus. Second playthrough. It does not add anything to the game. But yeah, done with that. It's very much a side story. Kind of. I started skipping some cutscenes towards the end because I just kind of got bored with it. But I always like that universe. But in that same vein, I started up Metaphor, ReFantazio, so I picked that up on Friday. And I have only played about 5 or 6 hours of it because I've been trying to... Well, Alison wants to watch me play it, and I've been trying to not just get too crazy into it and lose all my sleep. Fuck me, this game is good. Oh my god, it looks so good. Like, it reminds me that Persona 5 was a PlayStation 3 game originally. So, like, it's been a long time since we've had something in this Persona. Like, again, it's not P-Team making it. It's Team Zero, which is a new team spun off from the Persona team. And obviously, it's not a Persona game as such, but it very much has the trappings of it. It's really fun. Again, I'm so early, so I can't talk too much about it. I'm midway through the first dungeon. I'm trying to do it all in one day because I'm a crazy person. But it's tough. I'm playing on easy, but like even then, like you get your. I ran up against my first enemies that block, that reflect physical attacks, and I happened to have a party of all 3 physical attackers, so that really went badly for me very quickly.
Yeah.
So I had to load a save there. But unlike the Persona series, where you have the main character who switches through personas and the other characters just kind of are stuck with the persona they have, this is very much like a job class system, like your Final Fantasies, where it's like. Every person, like, okay, a bunch of the people that you talk to and make friends with will unlock new, they call them archetypes. So, for example, the first archetype you get is the Seeker, which is kind of like a magical, it's like a wind magic and medium attack power sort of hybrid class. So it's kind of, you do it, and it has a small heal, a small magic, and has like a medium attack. And then you get someone as like the Warrior, which is like just pure 2-handed weapon attack. And then you get the Mage. And it's like those are your 3 that you start with. And every kind of relationship that you build up in that same sort of Persona way unlocks, well, not everyone, but a bunch of them will unlock new archetypes. So I just did a quest that unlocked the Brawler archetype that allows me to use like, your classic like Monk Fist, like do attacks that take health off you but do big fucking damage. which has been really fun to play around with. And each of them, you can swap those out on any character. They just have to basically learn the ability to use them. And they each level it up. So I think it's like every archetype has like 20 levels. So you have like your personal level and your archetype level. And so once you hit level 20, you've unlocked all the skills for it. You can be like, oh, I'll switch to something else. The other cool thing is that you can use a currency to, if you've learned an ability with one class, you can use it to put it onto another one. So if you're like, oh, I really like this like ability that hits all the enemies, but I'm using my monk, which is typically like a 1-to-1. I want to have like a crowd control ability, or I want to have like a heal or something. There's a lot of like interesting variation you can do there. It story-wise, you're in a interesting kind of world that has been that has had like it's a world of 3 nations, 8 tribes, and they're all kind of like humanoids with like different features, and they're all like different social classes, and there's a lot kind of going on. It's a sort of medieval society where the king has died, everyone's going to the funeral, and everyone's like, what's going to happen? He was the guy holding us all together. And it turns out like one of his lieutenants is like the person who killed him. And so he's like, I want to be the king. I'm going to try and launch a coup. And like, again, this is not like a thing. This is like in the first like opening cutscene. So no spoilers, but, and so you're on kind of a mission. It kind of gets revealed over time. I'm only about 6 hours in, so I don't know what the fuck's going on yet, but it's great. Looks great, plays great. Like it's super, super smooth. Has like, if you like the Persona series, you'll be right at home, but it has enough difference that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Or that's kind of fun. Or that's a good change. My favorite quality of life thing they've done so far, if you are a high, like, so in typical Persona games, if you run up to an enemy, you can hit them to start the battle. You know, it's the classic thing where it's like you hit them and that you get like an advantage, or like you get like an extra strike on them when you start the battle. In this one, if your level is high enough and you hit the enemy, they just die. They just die straight away, and you just get the experience points. They're like, yeah, we're not going to make you fight like 50 wolves. Like, why would we do that? Like, you're like 5 levels above them. You just hit them once, and they're done. They can still hit you, and you take damage, or if they hit you from behind, then you will get into a battle. But it's a really nice quality of life thing where I'm like, I haven't actually fought in that many battles, but the ones I have fought have felt like real actual fights. Because anytime anyone's too weak, it just kills them for me. And I get some experience and I just kind of move on. So it's really nice sort of quality of life stuff that I'm really, really enjoying. But I'm basically like just out of the tutorial doing the first dungeon. So I'll probably have a lot more to talk about over the next couple of weeks. This is like a 120-hour game. So, and also requires 2 playthroughs because you got to do a New Game Plus for a Super Boss. But
that job system sounds like Stranger Paradise.
Yeah, I think that's kind of... definitely taking some inspiration from that kind of stuff. Like that, like kind of Bravely Default and things like that. I
really like that. Yeah. So play jobs, level up jobs, unlock jobs.
Yeah, yeah. And there's the classic thing of like, if you level up one job enough, it usually unlocks another one in the same lineage.
Yeah,
So it's like...
You basically have parts of the tree where if you go to a certain node, it unlocks the...
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, oh, level this one to 20, and it's like, and if you use that and spend enough currency, you can unlock another, like, it's like, oh, I don't know, I haven't unlocked any of them yet, but, really excited to play more of it. I'm going like a full strength build and just being like a big tanky boy and just fucking things up.
Which you had me at monk, so...
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm having a lot of fun playing through this, but still very early days. But, that's me. I've been playing a lot of different stuff. All right, let's have a look at the leaderboards. Let's see who's on top this week. So, in third place, we have Northern Lass with 11,300. A Grey Shark with 14,195. And in first place, we have Jimbot UK with 32,100. So, great job, guys. Completions. Keo, do you want to read through those?
Yep, so Rapture did Scorn and Power Wash. There's a few Power Wash basically this week because of the new updates. Firehawk did Remorse, The List, which actually looks nice as well.
Apparently pretty good, like from what is like, again, the trash that he's been playing.
Yeah. Shadow Slide did Rec Room. Why?
I don't know.
They've been doing it since Hit came out, probably.
Yeah.
Baron Von Neumann did Space Marine 2. Loved it, apparently. Left 4 Dead. Alpha D Pills here did Mad Streets. Just Jake did Horizon 4. So Forza Horizon 4. Yeah, that's done. And Power Wash, the update.
Yeah. Great work, guys. We've also got our word challenge, everyone's favorite competition, where you go on our Discord and guess what the game is that I'm thinking of. Every week I give away a clue, and if you get it right, or a GIF pops up and it doesn't fucking work, so you just get a still image, but whatever. You win $20. I'll send it to you on PayPal. Every week I give away a clue. The first clue was this game has lots of trees. Big tree thing going on. Second clue, fishing. That's it. Trees, fishing.
Cool.
Start narrowing it down. Thinking
The
about
community
games.
will be doing with this clue.
I had to. What were you saying?
I was saying that the community will be doing with this clue.
Yes, they're going to be trying real hard, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's been some good guesses so far.
I had to put in Halo Combat Evolved because of that. You know, the Halo Studios release where like, look at the trees.
Look at the trees. It's true. Yeah, it's true. They do.
Like,
quality trees. Jump on our Discord. If you don't know what our Discord is, it's on my TA profile. Otherwise, we need to find some way of publicizing that because fucking it's hard to say out loud because it's a fucking bunch of string and numbers.
Discord is the feeling that.
Okay. Cameron, Patreon.
Discord is the feeling that
Oh my
is
god.
Patreon.
Discord is what I'm feeling right now.
We want to give thanks to Lee Howard, Mikhail KB, Natalita, Mad Lefty 2097, Admiral Olsen, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Paren, Cavalier 07, Old Man Clown, Mark B, Message, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. We appreciate the support, and we could not do this without you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. All right. I guess that's kind of going to bring us towards the end of the show. We always do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. As usual, you guys know the drill.
Come say hat? Did you say?
Come say hat. If you listen to this, come say hat. I want to see hats.
come say hat and we know you listen to the episode.
That's true. Because everyone just, I'm assuming people just turn it off at this point. But yeah, have we got anything to shout out, Kia? What do you got going on?
Nothing right now, but I'm looking at winding my streaming back up, like starting that up again. After I'm pretty much done with the training that I was doing.
Sweet.
Took like 3 months. I'm just doing some healthcare stuff. So because I'm looking at new work and stuff like that. So it's been interesting. Couple of months. So hopefully start streaming again next week. I really need to finish off Resident Evil 2 so I can move on and start working on some of those other games. So, but I mean, yeah, at Kia Live at Home on Twitch and Twitter, and at How to Fix Gaming on YouTube.
Amazing. Cameron?
I want to take a fat nap. I haven't rested since last week.
Yep, naps all around. That sounds great. But first, we got to finish Borderlands 3.
Yeah, are you going to put on that on the stream? Are you going to stream?
He's going to do a sleep
sleep?
stream. He's going to get the Nintendo alarm clock.
Please do a sleep stream. I'll watch it.
My grand return streaming will be my OnlyFan.
Okay, well.
Fan behind me in the corner.
Yep, the big
Just
fan.
on my chair.
Watch out for fan
Right.
death. It's dangerous. The Koreans will tell you. And for me, Neomaster and everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord, as always. I don't do any streaming or anything. This is the only place you'll see me. But yeah, if you're in Discord, say hi. That's been episode 145. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Peace out.
Okay.